Then Moses led Israel from the Red Sea. This is after all the celebration. And they went out in the wilderness of Shur, and they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. And they came to Marah. They could not drink the waters of Marah. They were bitter. Therefore it was named Marah. So the people grumbled at Moses, saying, "What shall we drink?" Now, before you're too hard on them, what would you have done? They spent their whole life grumbling in Egypt. We're slaves. God's forgotten us. Look what we're going through. Look at the privation. Look at the exploitation. Look how we've been used by these Egyptians. And they grumbled, and now they go in the promised land. They have 3-day celebration, and Moses leads them, and now they have no water. And then finally they come to a place, and Moses says, "Look, there's water. There's a spring up here." And they run to the spring, and they put their head down in the water to drink, and it's bitter. You can't drink it, Marah. It's bitter water. You almost don't have to apply this, do you? Is anybody here bitter? Let's be honest. You know anybody who's bitter? Well, when do you get bitter? When do I get bitter? I get bitter when I feel like I'm being used, right? Bitterness. I get bitter when I feel like I'm being exploited. I get bitter when people lie about me. And I get bitter when sometimes people tell the truth about me and I don't like it. You like that? You know? Yeah. If you're married to somebody who is negative and bitter, God help you. There's a lot of bitterness running around. Are you bitter? Are you drinking the water of Marah there in your life? Do you work around people? Do you live with people? Do you know people that are bitter? And you say, what do you do about bitterness? That's what the question is. Where do we get some good water? Where do we get some water? We're thirsty. We can't drink this bitter water. When you drink bitter water for a long time, ladies and gentlemen, it just gets in your bones, in your feet, in your blood, in your partial, in your mind. And before long, you wake up and essentially you are bitter. Oh, if only this had not happened. If only this had taken place. If I had not lost my job. But that person had not. And we get bitter and bitter and bitter. And then sometimes we get over bitterness and we go back and visit it again. I know you've done that. I've done that. Go back and get bitter all over again. What is the answer to bitterness? We have it right here in Scripture. It'll work right now, just like it did in that day. Look at the answer to bitterness. Verse 25. And then he cried out. The question is, what shall we drink? And then he cried out to the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree. And he threw it into the waters, and the waters became sweet. And there he made for them a statute and regulation, and there he tested them. What do you do when you get bitter? 2 things. You pray and you obey. That's what he did. That's what we're to do.